This is the Cardinal Cowboy Show.
Giddy up! Woo!
Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, you only get to do super awesome and exciting things a few times in your life. We are down at One Cardinal Way. I'm here with my baseball buddy friend, Gary Halstead. Gary, you're living in baseball heaven. You're literally living in baseball heaven. What is it like for you to have your new favorite residence that you've ever had, probably your whole life, right here, not even a block away from Busch Stadium?
It is so amazing. I'm here because I'm such a big Cardinal fan, and we have just moved into this fantastic place at One Cardinal Way. We look right into the stadium, and just everything about it is so amazing. It's going to be something I really enjoy.
Well, you know, I was doing a little hunting through Facebook. Just I don't even know what I was looking at, and I looked across your page, and I see your stuff every once in a while because we're friends on Facebook officially, also, and then we started chatting, and I looked a little bit more at your profile. I'm like, did I just see something about you're going to be living down at One Cardinal Way? What? I know what that is. They got my trophy right over here. We got the World Series trophy.
Yes, we did.
Right here, in case anybody was wondering, of course, everybody.
Gotta have that.
They've got one of these. I mean, so how exciting is it for you to live about, I don't know, I could kick a football from here to there maybe. And we're literally 600 yards, maybe less, from the Super World Series trophy, and across the street we can watch the Cardinal game right here from Gary's apartment. He's living here with his buddy. Got this with your buddy Dave.
Yes, my buddy Dave.
And tell us, what's the biggest excitement for you about all this? And I know you're a diehard Card fan. We're going to talk about your history as a Cards fan too.
Well, I was brought up a Cardinal fan. My dad and I used to listen to games when I was a little youngster, and used to lie on the floor every night and listen to the stereo, listen to Jack Buck and Harry Carey. And now to be able to do something like this, it's just totally awesome. I mean, I'm a guy that goes to fantasy camp and every year, and to sit here and watch the games and be able to look in the stadium. I mean, we can see every bit of the field. I feel blessed, and it's totally amazing, Carter.
Well, okay, so some people get to live their fantasies. They have their dream job. Some people get to retire in their dream fantasy. And so are you close to retirement?
I just sold my business last December. Yes,
last December,
I am
you said,
retired.
I've got enough. I want to go down and enjoy it and buy a place. So you've got this. All right, so how did you tell everybody a little bit? They're probably interested to know, how did you happen about this? I mean, you heard about it, but it was hard to get in here, I guess. So what was the process so some people understand?
Well, we were here probably about a year ago, and they had an office, and it said One Cardinal Way. And my daughter Erin and I popped in there, and I started looking what the rent was and everything we got for what we paid. And I found another fantasy friend, David Kroese, and together we talked it over, and we said, we got to do that. I mean, to be able to live here and look over the city, to look right into the ballpark. We can watch batting practice now, where we don't normally get to do that. Even this past year, when they didn't have fans in the stands, you could be up here and watch the games.
So you were one of the few guys who actually got to watch Cardinal games. I mean, I happened down here, and they kind of communicate with me a little about what's going on, and I said, come down for home opener. I did the game before that, and there was really not that many people here. It was the last preseason game. I guess that was against the Royals, and that was pretty cool, and you could walk right over. You go over here to the brew house.
Yes.
The brew house has a deck right there, and you could see into the game, and you could see most of the field. I think you're right. From here, I didn't really note that, but you can see the whole stadium. I mean, it's just amazing what you get to see here. We're going to put up some pictures of the place, and I'll take a live shot of it. I mean, do you feel like you're like season pass anytime you watch?
I feel like I have a season ticket. I mean, I can sit right here on the balcony. We can go in a refrigerator and get our food.
Right.
We can have our own TV here to watch replays. You can actually go down to the 8th floor and stand in the swimming pool and watch the game.
You've got access to the pool.
We have access to the pool.
We'll try to take a picture of that also.
We're on the 19th floor, so we're even higher, so we can see everything up here. So, it's, like I say, it's just totally amazing.
Well, it is. I mean, we've all seen this being built. You talked a little bit about the history of it, and they talked about how they were going to try to get this done by the All-Star Game 2000. Was that 2009, if I recall right?
I think so.
St. Louis, the last time they hosted. I was there. I got an extra ticket from a secret flying source. I can't name. But it was just amazing, and they got the field done. So they finished the new stadium in 2006, right? And we waited a couple. No, we didn't wait any. We got a World Series the first year in the new stadium. Everybody,
yes, we did.
Recognized that.
I was there.
You were there too. And they talked about how they were going to hopefully maybe get the thing, this part done. They never really got too excited about it, but you knew it was coming at that point. But they said we're going to try to get it done by 2009. When does this officially get done? I mean, this building like a few months ago.
Yeah, August was the first time you could move into the One Cardinal Way. We just moved in this weekend, but I was here this summer a little bit, and they let me go down to the pool area and watch some games. And like I say, I'm in love with the place. We can look down here at the new wheel down at Union Station. It's all lit up. We can look over the whole city. And like I say, I just couldn't be happier. I feel blessed to have a place like this.
Well, it is amazing, and for somebody who's such a diehard Cardinals fan like yourself, we're buddies from the Cardinals games.
Yes, we are.
I get to hang out with you sometimes out here in the left field bleachers.
Yep, absolutely.
And that's where you make some of your best friends for life. You know, you have one thing in common. We talked a little bit about things outside of it. I mean, politics doesn't matter.
No.
You know, family stuff, you can't keep that outside of it. Work, keep that outside of it. But when you're a fan, and you love the Cardinals, you all get to spend your time together loving one thing that we all have in common. You've been a fan forever. Talk about your history and I know you started off where and why, and the influences you had that were not Cardinals, but it still worked out that you ended up being a Cardinals fan. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, my father, Arthur Halstead, and my uncle, Bud Noble, those two brought me up a Cardinal fan. And I actually, at my first fantasy camp, I met my cousin David Noble, who I didn't even know, but the fact that his father brought him up a Cardinal fan and my father brought me up a Cardinal fan, we met at fantasy camp, and like I say, we didn't even know each other. And now I go to fantasy camp every year. I have made friends all over this country. In last September, I finished my tour of all 30 Major League Baseball stadiums. And
that's amazing.
It was.
That is amazing.
It was a lot of fun. And all my friends from fantasy camp, I was fortunate enough, I almost have a friend in every city now. So someone joined me almost at every ball game.
That's amazing. You kind of celebrated your last stop, which was Arizona.
Arizona.
Right? The Diamondbacks. Talk a little bit about that, if you would.
A lot of my friends wanted to join me, so we had 20 people that joined me in Arizona that night. My wife and a lot of friends. And Ricky Horton, who's a friend of mine from fantasy camp, he was good enough to have it put on both radio and TV that night. Dan McLaughlin announced it. And like I say, I just feel blessed, everything that's happened. I mean, all the people I've met, I have a lot of ex-Cardinals that are friends of mine now, and if you'd have told me this 10 years ago, I would have never believed it, everything that's happened to me in the last 10 years, just by going to fantasy camp.
Well, I mean, you imagine, I've been fortunate, I guess you and I, we did spend a little time together at one of the camps.
Yes, we did. One-day camp over here at BUSCH Stadium, we hit some baseballs. And
did you hit it out of the park?
I hit one at fantasy camp off the left field wall.
Did you hit
it was a two-hopper, but that was good for a guy like me.
Well, for a guy who's close to retirement age, you're in your upper 40s now, I guess. Maybe
I think I'm a little older than that.
A little past that. To hit a ball off the left field wall?
Left field wall.
So you're a righty?
I don't get around too fast anymore, but I feel like I can still hit a baseball.
Well, baseball is a passion. So did you play a lot of baseball as a kid? Was that your passion?
I just played, I played high school baseball, and then I played on one of the best softball teams in my town for a number of years. And I was a big home run hitter in softball.
Right, okay.
That was my experience in baseball.
So talk a little bit about the fantasy camp thing. You're a Hall of Famer, right? We have that up here. I'm going to make sure everybody sees that. I don't put that up on the slide for everybody to see. Fantasy Camp Hall of Famer. What's that about? How's that work?
Well, fantasy camp, and I apologize for my voice. Sometimes I lose my voice. But fantasy camp is all about raising money for Mercy Hospital to help the kids. And Hall of Fame is about the number of years I believe you go to fantasy camp, but it's also how you interact with people and how you help raise money for Mercy Hospital, which is what it's all about. And I'm big into that, and I would do anything to help raise money for those kids. And that's a true Hall of Famer that helps raise money for the kids.
Well, there's a lot of those guys. I mean, I've been to a couple camps down there for the one-day event they've got, and it gets rather exciting. I'm an older guy, and you kind of like you still get kind of intrigued and kind of get that little feeling in your stomach about, man, I'm standing over here next to Ozzie Smith, Scott Cooper, and Ray Langford, and Ted Simmons. I mean, you've got that picture. We've got the picture as part of your profile pic up here. I'll put that back up for everybody to see, and I might even put that up on the screen for everyone. You're standing there with Ted Simmons, Ray Langford, Ozzie Smith, and they made you a Hall of Fame fantasy.
They made me a Hall of Famer.
Of the fantasy camp.
Yep.
So now, what does it take to be that guy? Is it just good behavior plus a little bit of attendance, or hitting the ball off the wall a couple of times?
Well, I don't think it has a lot to do with talent. Like I say, it's helping raise money for Mercy Hospital, which is what it's all about. And the number of years you go, and just interacting well with the people. And like I say, a guy like me to be in the Fantasy Camp Hall of Fame, I almost cried that night. It was just something. My father, I wish he could have joined me so much. To see me up there with a speech, give a speech in front of all these great Cardinals, and I love them all, and they love me.
Well, I mean, that's a life experience. And there's a lot of us who would love to be part of the Hall of Fame, just any kind of Hall of Fame. But when you're part of the Cardinals Fantasy Hall of Fame, that's how many people? How many members are there?
I think there's like 29, if I remember. And like last year, there was 100 campers and I believe 35 ex-Cardinals.
Well, there you go. So and that's 100 campers.
Yeah,
that's just for one camp.
Last year.
So there's been 100 times. How many camps have they had? It's got to be in the
a lot.
I'm gonna count on my hand, everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. A lot.
Yeah,
right?
a lot.
We got to show off the rings a little bit. A lot of people appreciate those. So more camps certainly than the Cardinals have World Series rings. And if you take that times 100 every time they do it, you're in some pretty elite company there. Somebody who's been a Hall of Famer, inducted as a Hall of Famer, 25 out of thousands of potential.
Like I say, I feel blessed, and I almost cried that night. It just meant so much to me.
Well, if a lot of you are looking at our screen right now and you're thinking, wait a minute, they're pulling something on us. That's not Gary Halstead. That's Nolan Ryan right there. And Gary has been told multiple times he does look like Nolan Ryan. Did you ever throw a 106-mile-an-hour fastball?
I don't believe I ever got over like 26.
26, okay, I got you. Well, it's just fantabulous to have you on the show. We really appreciate you talking about it. What's up next? So you got the season going to get started. Next year we think we're going to be in the stadium, hopefully. They have everything in order for that now. We won't get too into that discussion. But going through the winter now, and next year, home opener, am I going to get to come down and hang out with you a little bit?
I really hope you do, Carter. I'd love to have you a number of times. A lot of my ex-Cardinal friends and my camper friends, and we want all of them to join us this year and sit up here on our long deck and watch some baseball games this year.
Well, this is the biggest deck in the building. I think is what you
Yep, it's the biggest deck in the building, 21 foot long, and there's a lot of room up here.
Yeah, you could almost play bags with that.
We can almost play cornhole up there.
Little cornhole. Wow, really exciting. So ladies and gentlemen, say hi to Gary next time you see him at the Cardinal game. We're going to talk to his buddy Dave here, just Dave Kroese, and these guys met at fantasy camp.
Yes, we did. We're fantasy camp friends, and I have fantasy camp friends everywhere.
And you got to be. I mean, it's just how many people say, "Hey guys, I'm looking for an apartment. What, you got to find somebody that might want to share it with me." Wait a minute, this is a Cardinal thing with guys from Cardinal. It's a different style of way to find a place and figure out a new way to kind of enjoy life.
Absolutely.
Pretty amazing. All right, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed our little chat here with Gary. I'm going to take a quick camera shot of the area here, and I'll keep talking. I've got the wireless mic on, and we got another wireless, but we want to do the handheld for this one. And I'll get a shot of the area here while Dave comes out, if that'll work for you, and we'll do that and share everybody a little bit of the scenery for One Cardinal Way, and there it is.
Thank you so much, Carter.
Gary, you're awesome, man. I'll take this from you, and we'll wait for Dave to come out. Have him just grab a seat right where you were at. All right, everybody. So I'm standing in front of the camera here while my highly priced camera guy is me. And sometimes I've got a couple guys who assist me. So if you're there now, I'm going to leave it there on the ground just because I'm going to step over it in just a second. But let me get a couple shots here, everybody. And you guys are seeing Dave there now. But I'm going to go ahead and take this camera. This camera has the super long cable on it. I'm going to pull it out a little bit. And we're kind of stuck between. There we go. But I'm going to give you guys as best I can. And this is kind of going with what we got. There you go. Now the camera without having these other lights glaring into it. This is our view right here of... What park is it? That's BUSCH Stadium, Dave. What is? what do you think about that? I'm going to get a shot of you looking over there at it. I mean, that is just about as cool as it gets, and I think a lot of people are going to get real excited about what we're showing them here. I was going to get a private tour of this building before COVID happened, and then we talked a little bit, and they said, well, they kind of put that all on hold. But just take a quick look here. This is your scenic view of downtown right from their balcony here, and I mean, it does not get much better than this. In St. Louis, this is the premier place to be. And so we wanted to give everybody a quick look at everything you've got here. Now, we can't shoot around the building, but you can see right over there is down the right field line. Here's center field, Budweiser. But you just get a great view. Dave, are you excited about this or what?
Absolutely, yeah. And then you got the arch on the other side.
And the arch is on the other side. We took that picture and showed a picture of the building and had the arch included in it. So, yeah. Back when I was a kid, I might have been able to hit one out of the park into the arch, but I don't know if I could do that. No, ladies and gentlemen, you guys all know I was a base stealer and a leadoff hitter, not a home run hitter. But there you go. A lot of people recognize there is the Purina building. I'm going to try to get a shot over here, and you can see this little building. I'm zooming. I'm literally doing this with just using the standard zoom on our little Canon 80Rs.
You got a low red crescent moon on the horizon.
Oh, and there is a low crescent moon out there. If we can get a shot of it, it's right to the right of the Purina. Let's see if I can. This camera is designed for interviews. There we go. Oh, there it is. Yeah, you can see it. What a shot. Oh, wow. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the kind of scenery, the kind of shot you're going to get when you come down here. Hopefully you guys have a friend down here at One Cardinal Way. I'm glad I've got a couple buddies now here. So there it is, ladies and gents. You see the Ferris wheel. We'll get a shot of that. That's just a few blocks away. It looks like it's closer than it is, but that's over there by the Edward Jones. Or now it's not. Now it's Enterprise, right? Edward Jones off to our right. I was thinking of Scott Trade, but now, yeah. And so there it is. All right, so that's our great shot of that. Awesome, Dave. We'll go ahead and grab a seat. I'm going to put the camera back up here on our tripod, and hopefully I didn't mess up the shot that I had before. I want to make sure that we both fit in the frame there. I think from right there is good. Cool. And if you guys see, there's the Budweiser sign right down over Dave's right-hand side there, on the left side of the screen. Very cool. All right, and we'll keep it locked in right there. Got some lighting stuff doing right there. I'm gonna shrink this. I can do it this way. There we go. All right. Very cool. I'll sneak back into the shot here, and go ahead and grab that. So as long as you hold it with this part facing you, as if that's the mic, that's the volume. But so we're live here again, ladies and gentlemen. Now interviewing new friend of mine. Actually, you told me we'd met before.
We have.
Where did we? Where? Okay. That's terrible. I meet a lot of people.
You meet a lot of
I
people.
do.
Yeah.
And so I feel bad. But yeah, we did a few times though. Then. Okay, where did we meet at?
Well, I have weekend season tickets. I've had those since 2004.
Okay.
So I have run into you on a number of occasions. Usually, though, we slap five, or I shake your hand, or I pat you on the back as you're walking past.
I'm always
I don't
hustling.
blame you for not knowing who I am.
Well, and I did draw a face. There's so much. There's so many diehard fans, and we have
5,000 people. Yeah, that's a lot of people.
per game, right? The Cardinals are usually first, second, or third in the
Yes,
league
they are.
in overall attendance. A lot of people don't know that.
Yes, they
But,
are. 3 million plus.
and so when you got 3.3 million people coming to the stadium, we all get to make a lot of good friends. That's
Yes,
what's
we do. Yeah.
So talk about it. You diehard fan. You've got a lot of interesting things. I made a little slide for you up here too, Dave, and talk a little bit about. You have a pretty interesting background, and also kind of a big parks enthusiast. I've got on your title there, Dave Kroese. Is how you spell it?
Yeah,
Kroese.
Kroese.
Parks and parks enthusiast and writer. Parks enthusiast is like putting it lightly. You've been, and when we talk about parks, first I thought you were talking about you went to the big. Now Gary's been to all 30 stadiums.
And I've done that too. Yeah.
And you've done that too. But you've been to all 422 national parks in the United States of America.
Right.
How can you do that? I mean,
So yeah, you got to go to Guam, Saipan, American Samoa.
Okay, as I say, is that just not continental? That's everything.
No, this is Arctic of Alaska. You got to go to a lot of places where you can't get on the road system.
Right. So you were doing a little ship or flying or one of the, or both.
Take charter planes in some cases.
Charter planes. Okay. I'll bring our trophy up a little bit.
Then you're dealing with the Caribbean and Pacific Islands. The Caribbean is pretty easy to get to, but yeah, there are some places that are really hard to get to, and that's part of the joy of it is that you don't really see them coming, or you read about the park, but you don't fully understand what it is you're going to see. And I have to say that it was the ballparks, the baseball stadiums, that first inspired that concept of going to see one of everything. It's a bit easier to get to 30 major league stadiums, though, than it is, I'd say, to get to 422 parks. But my love of baseball pulled me around, and it was consistent with my work and all the travel I did at the time. And I started on that goal shortly after I became a season ticket holder here in St. Louis in 2004. But then, as time evolved, I kind of gravitated back to my childhood interests of human and natural history, and that led me into the national park system. So I would say it's all kind of, I actually have groups in my life I think of as families, really. And I have my baseball family, my national park family, and my real family. So these people are really important to me in these places and times in my life.
Well, I mean, all kinds of neat things you get to learn about people that you may not have ever met before, except you had one diehard thing. We talk about the fact that there's a lot of people who are quote-unquote diehard Cards fans.
Yeah.
And would you consider yourself, like Gary, a diehard Cards fan?
Absolutely, to the point that I keep score to keep myself occupied mentally during the games. I even track pitches. I record the number of pitches per batter and pitcher. And give me some, and when it's on TV, I struggle to watch it because I get nervous. So I'll pace, and sometimes in the playoffs, if I'm there at the game, no problem. I have something to do. I have a job to keep score. But on TV, it's tougher. So I'll go outside and walk around the block.
Now, is that for the away games?
That's the games I'm not at.
The games you're not at, but you're at a lot of them.
I'll watch some regular season games on TV, but I also I live in Chicago. I have lived near Chicago full time since 2002, and so I'll go see we have a condo a mile from Wrigley, and now we have we're next to BUSCH, so we're at both ends of the spectrum. So I'll go to our games at Wrigley and then also Miller Park because that's also very close by. I've seen over 100 games at both Wrigley and Miller Park, Cubs Cardinals, Cubs Brewers.
So you've got, did you say you have season tickets?
So I have a 20-game season ticket package at Milwaukee that I've had for quite a number of years. And I use 10 of those games to watch the Cardinals, and then I'll sell the other 10. And then I'll go see all the Cardinals Cubs games at Wrigley, and then come here for the weekends. I think it was 04 that the Cardinals offered that weekend package. They called it the roll-in plan at the time. It was a 27-game package.
Right.
It was perfect for me because I lived 300 miles away. You don't want to come down here for a single game, but a pair of games on a weekend, that's manageable. So I was elated, and actually I called the ticket office, left a message in 2004 before the season, and they called me back and 2 weeks into the season and said, you know, we still have some of these tickets left for this plan. Well, you missed the beginning of the season, but, you know, we'll sign you up. And I said, oh, okay, I'll do it. and that was 04 was the first year then, and then we went to the World Series. So, you know, I got to see the playoffs.
Coincidence, yeah. Dave was there, and the Cardinals went to the World Series. So what's it like? I mean, talk a little bit about it, because we didn't get to talk about that as much with Gary. We talked a little bit about it. But what's it like, the camaraderie, the relationship? We talked about it, but I'd like to get your perspective on it. And it's just a unique perspective, because I mentioned everything else doesn't matter. You don't get into politics or work or family. It's a group of people who all just love one thing. And it's something that the Cardinals have done an incredible job with.
They have.
Because,
Absolutely.
which is very unique. And people think, well, then
It is.
you go to other stadiums with other teams, and
It's
the
not
same
like
thing.
this.
And it's not like this anyway. I've been friends. I've never been to a home opener anywhere except for the Cardinals. Yeah, I don't miss one, right? But they said, oh, you go other places, it's kind of like just another game.
Exactly.
And sometimes it's like less than the other games. Football's still going on.
Right. No, you don't see the things you see in St. Louis. The Cardinals come out on the warning track. The Cardinal Hall of Famers come out in the red jackets. And then we do a lot of events. The Cardinals host a lot of alumni events during the season. Credit to Joe Pfeiffer, who sets all that up. But they host a lot of events for championship teams, you know, like their 30th anniversary teams, all kinds of things that bring former ball players back in. And doing the fantasy camp, you can really see how the players take that to heart, because they treat you as if, you know, you have this connection that already existed before you ever knew them. And they're great. They're wonderful people, both the Cardinals organization and the players that they bring. You know. It's a sense of family that you don't see, even with the Yankees. You know, I've seen several games at the old and new Yankee Stadium, and yeah, with all their tradition and history, you don't see this kind of connection and this family atmosphere. So I've never seen it anywhere but St. Louis with the St. Louis Baseball Cardinals.
And it's just a phenomenal thing. Most people, you have to have experienced it to be here. And like I said, when you miss a home opener, you feel like your heart's breaking. I had a business deal one year, and I almost hustled and pulled it off. I had tickets lined up, and then it was a guy who said, "Well, Oscar Tavares' family got those tickets," and I was like,
Okay.
I get it. I can understand.
Take the hit.
Yeah, and to take one for the team. But literally, I mean, that combined with this location, having a residence, literally, I mean, I was joking. You think you could throw a baseball onto the field? We talked before
Some could, yeah.
pregame. We talked
Rick and
about
Keel could.
Rick and Keel could. You're almost some of the larger stadiums that are historic, and the newer ones are kind of more little more comfy. But they had a lot higher stadium, a lot bigger, higher seats, a lot bigger. We're a little bit higher than the seats might have been, because we're a few floors up here.
It's like a center field view, but offset just a little bit.
Just
a little higher.
it's almost like being
You can see the whole
in
field.
center field with the stadium going on here. Talk
Oh,
about.
I plan to score a game from up here. You totally can.
Well, I mean, you can see the whole field. You don't even need binoculars. I mean, you're just like
right in front of
being in the bleachers at Old Busch.
And I liken it to having a luxury suite or an all-inclusive suite for every game, because the field's in front of you, and quite frankly, it's a view that's, I think, is just as good as some of the suites and some of the boxes. And then you've got your own apartment. You know, you can even take a nap if it was a boring game. But you've got
Cubs are hitting or something.
Yeah, the Cubs are hitting. But you've got all the amenities here in the back in your private bathroom, so you don't have to stand in line for the urinal. So there's a lot
Clean
of
private. And I've been, because I should say, Cardinals Stadium is pretty clean. I've been to Wrigley. They have troughs.
Yes.
It's interesting. It's a little different. But yeah, so okay, you've got the highest level of amenities. We were setting up for the show. It took us a little extra time to get set up here. We got some I'm trying to adjust for the best microphone setup, and it looked great. But I said, let's get connected to the internet. I got 2 different phones from 2 different carriers, just about everywhere I'm at. One of the 2 of them will give me access that I want, with the speed that I need. And then I said, let's try yours here just for fun. I'm just used to the normal hotel thing, and I'm going, wait a minute, these guys didn't realize this is a brand new building.
Yeah.
The download speed here is better than what I get out for my high-end stuff that you pay extra for. Your upload speed was the same as the download speed.
Yeah.
That's insane. So for you people who need a little extra, you better get to know somebody.
The building is wired.
The connection is unbelievable.
The building is wired to handle up to 10,000 MBS speeds.
Per resident, or just for the building.
Yeah,
In
just
the
the
building.
connection in the building.
Right.
So you have now obviously the network doesn't support that yet. So it's 1,000 is the best speed or the
Oh,
highest
it's
speed.
only 1,000.
Yeah, it's only 1,000. But yeah, they really did do this with an eye to the future. They wanted it to be cutting edge technology and did a great job, I think, of setting that up.
We'll talk about the amenities that you get to partake, because not only do you have like BUSCH Stadium right across from you, of course, but you get to also, you've got all the new stuff.
Right.
You've got the new St. Louis Social, you've got
Correct.
PBR, you've got Fox Sports, you've got the Brew House, and everything else about downtown that's awesome.
Right.
How cool is all of that? Is that part of what that's the benefit of living here now?
Yeah. Well,
having a place you can stay whenever you want.
if you'd like to exercise, you got a gym both in the building, and then there's a full commercial gym here in Ballpark Village now. It just opened up not long ago. And anybody in the building has a membership for that. So, and then you've got a number of restaurants in Ballpark Village, both old and new.
Right.
You've got Lowe's, the luxury hotel, that's the kind of the companion building to this on the other end of the block.
If you didn't know better, you might think that was the apartment, and this is both apartments.
It's across from gates 4 and 5. And then there's a restaurant on the bottom floor of that. Then the plans are to add a couple of restaurants in the basement or the bottom of the first floor of this building of 1 Cardinal Way. That was slowed by the pandemic and development, but by next baseball season, it's quite likely, very soon that they'll fulfill those plans and get those things running. So there could be anywhere from 6, 7 to a dozen restaurants in this area. It's very close to the vision that the Cardinals set out for it when they started construction of this new ballpark in 2005.
Well, it looks like they put it together. I'm politely getting answering stuff from our fans and our live streamers, and we've got a lot of people tuning into this because this is an exciting place to do a show.
Yeah.
When I talk to her, I'm like, I've got my new mobile set.
And you have to come here and watch BP. BP. Because we normally can't get in the stadium for that.
And that's what you were saying, because you can't get there, I think, the game time.
Hour and a half before the game time.
Before the
Cardinals
game.
are usually finishing about that time. Home team goes first. Yeah.
And so, so the visiting team always, you get to see some of those guys.
correct.
But if you want to see the Cardinals, they go first.
Right.
And then you miss it. You won't get to see it maybe the end if you're lucky.
The last-
But you'll get to
last
see
group, yeah.
Yachty or the guys that you want to see. But from here,
Yeah.
just stand right out here. You can see, maybe if somebody gets a hole in one.
Well, you can see it fall, I don't know, in the courtyard maybe.
If Goldie can put a little crunch on one, maybe bring.
This might be a little bit of a stretch for him, or even McGuire in the heyday.
Yeah, I would say this would be a bit of a stretch. Well, tell everybody. So you're going to have a full season here. What's it going to be like having these kind of seats right across? This kind
It's
of
going to be incredible.
Talk about it.
We're looking forward to seeing the whole show. The fans come in the stadium, the batting practice, Cardinals and visiting team, taking it all in, the atmosphere, and then to be able to watch a game. Also, we'll still watch a few games in the stadium, so we're not going to give up on the stadium. We'll see you there as well, and we know you'll be there.
And you said I could stop by.
Absolutely.
As long as I don't bring any of my
We expect
troublemaker
you. We
friends.
expect you, yeah. So as long as the law doesn't know you're here, then
Right.
that'll be good.
As long as my probation officer.
Yeah, the legal issues are set aside. But yeah, we'll catch the game, and as I said, I plan to watch a couple of games and just for the heck of it, to score them from up here, see what that's like. And then we were talking about if we ever have a game that we happen to be at, or it goes into like those 14, 15 innings. I've actually attended a 22-inning game before, Cardinal game, 22-inning game.
22. There's only been a few of those.
Yeah, not many. And a couple of the longer ones I attended were scoreless for most of the time. So in those situations, we could always come up here between innings and watch the end of the game from our balcony if we chose. So we don't give up on the game just because we leave the stadium.
You just gave me an idea, and that is, I have a rule that if I, and this only kind of got me in tough situation one time. But that is, if I go to a game, I do not leave early.
Right. Okay.
I'm a diehard Card fan. I'm a Cardinal Cowboy. Major League Baseball's favorite fan. They did that contest a few years. That was fun. But my rule is, it doesn't matter how long the game goes. I do not. I've had
You're there. Yeah.
I've had some girls go, "Hey, Carter, it's late. Come on, let's go." I'm like, "I'm telling you, babe, I love you, but we got to stay. We can't leave." One time I did have a gig, and I told these guys, and it was kind of subbing in. The next gig is kind of thinking I could have done. I just told them, I'm just like, normally for work I would leave. This was something I was just helping a little bit, and these guys had enough fun with me. And I said, I can't break my streak. I've done it. I didn't leave. Now I can come over here and catch the end of it right here, and then I technically haven't left as long as I'm still watching, I guess, right?
Yeah. Well, you can catch every pitch.
Yes, you're not gonna miss anything.
A Barco launcher or something out here, you can get a load off.
You got it. Well,
That's your World Series trophy on the cocktail.
and we know the internet speed here is fast.
Yeah.
For me. But I can certainly be doing all the work that I need to right from here. Okay, awesome stuff, Dave. You're a diehard fan. I love it. 3 teams you've got season tickets for. I've never heard that before.
I can
420 parks around the country and all 30 stadiums. Fantasy camp. I love it. You want to hope to get in the Hall of Fame?
I don't know. What I've enjoyed about Fantasy Camp, Gary did a great job of bringing this out, is all the wonderful people, and both the Cardinal player, former Cardinal players, the staff, and the campers themselves are very interesting people. People like Gary. Great people, and as he said, all around the country. So, like his experience, I would be watching a game in Philadelphia, for instance. I've actually run into Cardinals fantasy campers by accident.
Do they recognize you?
Yeah, literally walking down the concourse. I ran into Rick Horton one night in Baltimore. Cardinals were playing in Baltimore. It was after the game.
I believe that.
And I ran in, and I'm like, well, hey, I expected to see him somewhere around. I've run into Al Robosky, and he's a great guy, and several stadiums. So, you never know who you're going to run into and watch a game with sometimes. It's a small world, really.
Well, I tell you what, it's pretty exciting just to have the diehard fans and connections and people that you meet. That otherwise, like I said, there's one thing that unites us all,
Yes.
and that is to have a love for a sport that is kind of unique. There aren't a whole lot of other countries definitely no other countries besides the United States, and Cuba and Japan a little bit, but none of them play as hard and as long and as much history. And then to have the #1, a lot of people consider the Cardinals the best team in the history of baseball. Right? You've got. I mean, from a authentic fan perspective, there's only one team that's got more championships that they've purchased. As I put my rings up. But besides that, National League #1, 11 titles. We keep talking about. In 2011, we got our 11th. In 2012, we were going to get our 12th. Now we're up to 2020, and we're still working on that 12th. But the Cardinals have done more to stay in the playoffs, to get more championship or playoff experience and exposure and games played, and then titles along with that. The Red Sox got a little bit. They hadn't won one forever. Cubs got their one. We got that kind of the way. They didn't really deserve that one. The rain switched in the middle of the game. It caused some stuff. But if you just really look at the historic, authentic history of the Cardinals, there's a reason they call this baseball heaven.
There is. You'll see things here that you don't see in most. You'll see the fans applaud an opposing player makes an incredible play. I think there's an element of class, and you'll see that on occasion. But just a real quick story. The first time I saw games in Citizens Bank in Philadelphia's Park, those fans are notorious for being a little rough. Yeah. So I about middle of the game, I went down to get something at the concessions, and I'm standing in line. The guy taps me on the shoulder. I turn around. It's kind of a rough-looking guy, and he says, hey, you're sitting in our section. You're 3 rows in front of us, and we were going to start a fight with you because you're a Cardinals fan, but you were so nice to everybody, we felt guilty about it. So he introduced himself to me instead. So I started talking to this guy. Pretty soon, we were first name basis, So I think that's the Cardinal way. That's the Cardinal mantra for the fans.
Sure. Yeah, and that's really what you get. You experience that here. I've been in situations. I go to a lot of games, and people get a little riled up from wherever, and I can come by, and I'll be like, hey, man, we don't act like that around here.
Right.
And they kind of like, who are you? And people kind of look at them, and everybody looks, and we all, and he just goes, and then they'll sit down and calm down. And it's just that's just the difference here. I think that's unique, and the players talk about that. They talk about the fact that there is a unique treatment, unique audience. This is why a lot of the players, I believe, when they retire, they stay here because it's kind of like you live in baseball. You're still on that next level. You go to some other city where baseball's not such a big deal. You played for the Padres or the whoever, and it'd be like, but no, you played for the Cardinals. If you live in St. Louis, I mean, who doesn't want to get woken up every time they wake up and somebody sees them in public goes. And they're retired 10, 15, 20 years later. And it's just, we lost it. We'll finish up on a couple sad notes just to talk about and give some admiration for the guys. In honor, I shouldn't say sad, but we lost a couple guys this year. We lost my buddy Lou Brock.
Great guy.
And Bob Gibson. And we'll probably go down and probably do a little shot down here of that and pay a little homage to those two guys. But if you talk about a couple guys that were historic, famous, classy guys that just really did things the Cardinal way, there was nobody. Talk a little bit about those guys if you've got any memories.
Yeah, I do. I didn't know Bob, unfortunately, although, I've always admired him, but I did know Lou. I got to meet Lou on a number of occasions, go to several camps. Lou was such a classy individual. He'd always make time for you, and it was so gracious. You'd never know by talking to Lou that he was a Hall of Fame baseball player. He was an unassuming guy who didn't take anything for granted, and got a smoke alarm. Feel sorry for those people.
All the systems are going.
Yeah, they're cooking dinner and got the best of them. We had that happen once. So, but anyway, Lou's a tremendous guy. So was Bob, and we've got some very special people in our Cardinal family, and everybody loved Lou. I don't know of anybody who ever had even a bad thought about him, quite frankly. He's a wonderful human being.
Yeah, Lou was great. I did a lot of charity work with him. I got to know him a little bit personally, and when he passed, I actually I did have a work event for a client that day that when we had his funeral. So that's why I want to kind of give a tribute down there. But just a guy who just huge impact. Really makes Cardinal fans proud to be Cardinal fans, and somebody that, I remember when I was a kid, and I'll never forget, and I went to a few games where I got to see him, I believe as a young kid, but I remember one day we went and Lou sat out that game. He was on give him a day off, and I was so upset. How do you not get Lou Brock to be here as the guy, their star player, and I didn't get to see him play for that particular game. But I mean, that's the kind of the impact that these guys have on us as Cardinal fans, and it's just they leave a mark on your life.
Yeah, they do.
They leave a mark on your perspective on life, and it just makes the city an awesome city.
They're good people, and they're. I think that's part of the Cardinal thing. I had that impression of Willie McGee. Got a chance to meet him, and such a humble, down-to-earth, nice person. He's just a good human being. And somebody you like to be around, and it makes you a little bit better. And he would never look at himself that way, but he is that way. That's who he is. And Lou is like that.
And it's such a thing. And I think that's a good model to have, not just for our city or the state, but it's something that hopefully can resonate. We've had some tough times in our country, but if you can say, hey, in that city, this is the way they treat people, the way they do things. And
we need more of that.
We need more of that in our culture, in our planet, and in our country. And it's just really neat that we get to experience that.
It is.
Meet fun guys like yourself, and I love it coming around and kind of make my tour. Everybody thinks I sit next to them.
That's surprising.
Well, because I go around the stadium, I work at the lower bowl, and I go, oh yeah, you sit right next to me. Well, I probably did for an inning or two, and I like to share the love and trying to get everybody going. That's part of why I like to contribute. And I go every other section, because one section on one side, one section on the other, you skip the next one. Well, those guys just saw you're in between, and you go all the way around. I do the lower bowl, and then sometimes kids will be in town, and kids go up to the they're a lot of times on the second level, and I'll go up there periodically. But it's fun because you really just get to meet a lot of great, fun, cool people. Like I said, when I first started doing this thing, I didn't know they were going to chase me out of the stadium. Who is this guy? Get him out of here. I said, I don't care. I was in a coma, lucky to survive. A lot of people
You have a great story,
A lot of people don't know it. So I mentioned it prayer. A lot of people don't understand or know that. But I was survived to pull a ventilator out of my own throat. On the seventh day, I rose, is what we talk about. But if you're really good, you can do it in 3. It took me 7. But passion for baseball, I believe, is what got me through that. And I won the same awards as David Freese and Ryan Howard. And I look back, what compelled me to do something like that? Pull my arms out of restraints. Baseball gave me that. So baseball gave me my second life, my second chance to go out and make an impact. The baseball career was over at that point. But I'm here for a more important reason. And it ties in so much to what you get to do with all the other baseball fans. And you find other people that have the same passion, and then meet fun people like yourself.
Well, it's thanks for having us. Thanks for coming out and saying hi.
Well, I have my live streaming device. Like I said, took a little longer to get this set up than I anticipated, but we want to get it right. We got mics and cameras and lights, and it's all portable. Couple trips, one trip up and one trip down.
It all worked.
It worked out great, and I just love the view. So I'm gonna give everybody one more shot of the
bet.
entire area.
I'll let you do that.
If anything you want to describe, you feel free. Or if you want to warm up a little bit, I understand that. We're a little bit cool. And thank you very much. I'll give you some knuckles. There we go. Thank you, Dave.
Some rings?
You got it. And so take a look here, everybody. I'm going to pull the camera out one more time. We got this extended cable. This is our 25-footer. But if you want to take one more look at Cardinal Cowboy shows shot here up at Upper Busch. This is one Cardinal way. And you talk about just being able to do and see and be part of something really cool. This is as cool as you may get, and I like, there we go, we got that shot now, and there is, you can see Busch Stadium, there is the entire field, you can really see. We're hoping they might have the lights on tonight, they do not, but talk about just a cool experience and everything that people dream of seeing. This is just an incredible sight, an incredible experience, and just most people dream of having something like this so close to where they live. You can see, and a lot of people, I'll zoom in some of the signs that people recognize, with the Peabody sign, and just downtown, the new wheel, not too far from us over at Union Station, the new aquarium, and right next to the Enterprise Center, and then Purina. A lot of people park in that parking lot right next to the Purina building, so that's really how close you all are. We're on the other side of Busch from them, obviously, and closer than those guys, and so it's just so cool. There's the Budweiser, and all of this you can see right here from the balconies at One Cardinal Way. An unbelievable, amazing experience, and just all around excitement, cool, fun stuff that so many people could only dream of. And with that, let me turn my, there we go. Get that shot as we finish up our shoot here live. I'm gonna turn off our graphic and tell everybody, hey man, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Hopefully you share this, you like it, get the word out, tell everybody what it's about, and we look forward to seeing you again on the next Cardinal Cowboy show, everybody. If you know any leaders in the community that deserve to be on our show, let us know. We love being part of it and doing it. All right, everybody, thanks a lot. We'll talk to you soon. Giddy up.
This is the Cardinal Cowboy Show.
Giddy up!